We begin with breaking news from South Korea, where President Yoon Suk Yeol has declared martial law. He made the unexpected announcement in a late-night television address. Well, Eunice Kim joins us on the phone now from Seoul. And did anyone see this coming, first of all, Eunice?
Hi, Tom. I would have to say unexpected is an understatement. I think we are quite in shock with this development. It is 11 o'clock here in South Korea, quite late. People getting ready for bed to start the workday tomorrow. But the president, Yoon Suk Yeol, did come up on TV screens here in the country to declare, as you said, martial law. And the reason that he gave was a domestic reason, I should say. We do not have a military emergency as far as his address said, but it is to address the political stalemate, if you will, that he feels, the blockage that he feels at the National Assembly to push through his legislative agenda. We know that there's been quite a bit of political tension, not only with the opposition party, but also the man helming the ruling party as well. Han Dong-hoon, he used to be a prosecutor that the president worked very closely with, but he has kind of taken his own way in terms of addressing some of the scandals surrounding the president's wife. But to address kind of what he said tonight, he said he declares martial law to protect the Free Republic of Korea from the threat of North Korean communist forces, to eradicate the despicable pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness of our people, and to protect the free constitutional order. So what he is referring to here for our international viewers are likely South Koreans within the South Korean context who the president feels is quite pro-North Korea and certainly anti-Yoon Suk Yeol government. We do know that the president's approval rating really has struggled ever since day one. He's had some of the lowest approval ratings of past South Korean presidents, and currently, as of last week, we saw it at 25%, according to the pollster Real Meter here. But once again, just emphasizing this is quite a development that I think everybody is trying to understand why and what this means for life here in South Korea. He did mention that this does not have, or this will not, greatly impact external relations. But again, underlining there's no, military threat from North Korea as far as we know now, but this does seem more to be
like you
domestic.
say, it does seem to have taken many people by surprise. We're just getting some reaction. The South Korean opposition Democratic Party leader has said the declaration of martial law is unconstitutional. We're hearing that others are saying that the declaration was wrong and there are vows to block it. Can you just give us an idea of how people are reacting to this and what we think could potentially happen in the days ahead now?
Right. So we are also hearing from, again, the leader of the president's party, People Power Party, Han Dong-hoon, saying that he would oppose, quote, the declaration of martial law alongside the people. So you have the president's political party actually opposing this move as well. So we can probably say that there will be an intensification of the gridlock in terms of cooperation between the president's office and the ruling People Power Party. But beyond that, we really would have to wait and see what this means. He did say he would try to minimize impact on daily lives of the people who are not in that political sphere. Okay. But again, this is very fresh.
Yeah, indeed it is. Only happening in the last half hour or so. Eunice Kim, thank you so much for all of that. We really do appreciate it. Eunice Kim for us in Seoul. Well, we're going to go now to Se-Woong Koo, who is the managing editor of Korea Exposé. He joins us from Stuttgart in Germany. First of all, your initial reaction to this, because it seems to have taken almost everyone by surprise.
I think that's an understatement. I am genuinely surprised. I am extremely shocked. But at the same time, I'm just asking myself, are we really in the 21st century? Korea transitioned to a full democracy in 1987, and we have not seen a maneuver like this since then.
OK, so why would the president do something like this?
So officially in his statement, he says there has been unreasonable obstruction to his policies from the opposition, which currently controls the National Assembly. And he says that the country is currently under great threat from communist forces and that he needs to restore order. And that requires extreme measures like this one. In reality, the president, Yoon Suk Yeol, has seen his approval rating plummeting in the last several weeks and months. And yes, the public knows that he has a background as a prosecutor, and he's always used a very strong anti-communist rhetoric. But for him to go this far is just simply astounding.
Yeah, it seems to have taken almost everyone by complete surprise. We're just getting some information in now that the entrance to Parliament is now blocked and lawmakers cannot enter at this point in time. The South Korean opposition leader Lee says that Parliament will do its best to nullify Yoon's martial law, but the military may try to arrest members of Parliament. I mean, how extraordinary would it be if that was to happen?
It would indeed be extraordinary. Yes, as you rightly point out, the parliament has the power to call on the president to lift martial law if a majority of National Assembly members were to agree. And indeed, that is precisely what we would see the opposition doing. But if the military is blocking the lawmakers from entering the building, then we are really going into a completely uncharted territory in the history of South Korea. Yeah. I'm also seeing online on major news portals of the South Korean internet sphere that many articles related to the current political development have been either blocked or erased.
So what does martial law mean? I mean, obviously we've seen the military step in at Parliament. Some websites are now being blocked. What else? What other repercussions are there?
So he is essentially insisting that he will use his executive power to override what he calls opposing forces. And in this case, he's essentially referring to the legislature. Other than that, details are somewhat unclear. We've also heard the South Korean military saying that they are now enhancing their preparedness to deal with threats to national security, which...
What does that mean? They're worried about
perhaps
North Korea?
Well, that is the official rationale, of course, that Korea is under threat both from external forces, meaning North Korea, and from internal forces, particularly communist sympathizers. And that's the label that he often uses to discredit the political opposition and the main opposition Democratic Party, which is in control of the legislature.
Could we just take this back a couple of steps? And can you just give us a bit of background, a bit of context for people that might not know the ins and outs of South Korean politics? Just the political infighting that has been going on over the last few months.
Of course. So South Korea politically is deeply divided, like many countries. In the last presidential election that saw the current president, Yoon Suk Yeol, take office, we have seen the electorate basically split in the middle when it came to supporting either him or the candidate of the main opposition party. And since then, the president has suffered serious major setbacks related to scandals involving his wife, who has been accused of multiple instances of corruption. And there has been a call from the legislature, of course, the opposition party, demanding a special investigation of the extent to which his wife has been influencing state politics. Instead, he has been intensifying his anti-communist rhetoric. And also we have seen the relations between North and South Korea degrade over time. And of course, there has been instances of exchanging balloons that carry anything from propaganda brochures to excrement crossing the DMZ in both directions.
Okay.
And just as we had thought that perhaps President Yoon might make a concession, he has decided to resort to this maneuver. And we're also hearing that the leader of the ruling party, that is President Yoon Suk Yeol's party, also saying that this is not the right thing to do for the country.
OK, we'll have to leave it there for the moment, but we will come back to you a little later on in the programme if you can stay with us. That is Se-Woong Koo, Managing Editor of Korea Exposé. Now, if you're just joining us, I want to bring you up to date with this breaking news out of South Korea. The President, Yoon Suk Yeol, has declared an emergency martial law. He says the measure was necessary to protect the country from the opposition's so-called anti-state activities. And he made the announcement just a short time ago in a late-night televised address, which has been met with shock and surprise by many inside and outside South Korea. The entrance to the South Korean parliament has been blocked. Lawmakers cannot enter at this stage. And the South Korean opposition leader has said that parliament will do its best to try to nullify Yoon's martial law, but the military may try to arrest members of parliament if it does so. We will stay right across this story as we get more information to hand.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.